Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you my pre-event deck tech, kind of talk about the deck that I am taking to my ProQuest. At the time you will be watching this, it'll be today, but it is tomorrow. And I'm choosing to go with Ira Scarlet Revenger. I'll kind of give you my reasons, what I expect from my meta, how that influenced my deck choices, and hopefully give you a good starting point, because this is ProQuest season, so a lot of this is tailored to your local meta. But regardless, we'll have some fun with it. I'll kind of talk what I'm expecting, and then we'll see if I'm right or wrong in the post-event video. But if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully enjoy your stay. If you're a long-staying supporter, thank you so much. As always, feel free to check out the Discord down below, channel membership, all that good stuff. Also, if I yawn or I seem a little out of it, it's 12 a.m. I've been messing around with the last couple choices in this deck and a little tired, but we'll be fine. So to kind of set the stage a little bit, I've been deciding between Ira and Arachne Marionette. I like both decks equally. I feel very confident on both decks pretty equally, but I think Ira gives me a little bit more consistency in my play over a wide range of heroes that I'm expecting at this ProQuest. This ProQuest is a little interesting. This is one of two in our immediate local area, and there's two big things. One, and the biggest thing is, unless someone comes from out of town, we are not going to have an Enigma player. I think we're only going to have one Prism when we normally have 2 to 3 in our local weeklies, and we're not going to have an Aurora player. Our Enigma main is coming back from Pro Tour, Sam, and he's probably really tired. I don't think he's playing in the event. We have Conrad, who's helping stream the event, and Conrad's our main Prism player. So unless Kevin drives up or drives down, I forget where, I think drives up based off where Kevin lives. Unless Kevin comes in, we won't have really a Prism main playing. I think there's one other Prism player, and then we haven't had an Aurora main. Our main Aurora main is now been set, so I haven't had to worry about playing into Aurora too much. So unless someone comes from out of town, we won't have that. But what we do have is we have a good Florian player, 2 Syndras. We're going to have a Verdance player. We're going to have a Vincent player, very good Vincent player, a Victor, and a couple other choice ones. So it's a pretty widespread, and obviously people can come from out of town. But because of what the location of the event and the timing of the event right after Pro Tour, I could see it being a smaller event. We'll see. We'll see. I'll let y'all know how it ended up turning out tomorrow or today as you're watching this. But regardless, so that kind of influenced my decision. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to play the most consistent deck I can, that I enjoy playing, that I know how to approach each matchup. Because the difference I have with Ira versus Marionette is Ira, I really know my win con in every single matchup. Versus Marionette, it's kind of a little bit, flipped on some of the matchups. But regardless, this is a list I went with. I went with a Boomer Ira list. I do like the Shuko version. It's not even a version anymore. If you're not teching for Enigma, it's really just a better blocking Ira that doesn't quite have as much go again. The whole thing between Flick and Shuko really is irrelevant. It's more of a playstyle choice in my opinion. But regardless, this is the equipment suite. Obviously, a Mask Momentum. I'm not even going to take the time on that. It's really, really good heavies. I do have Crown of Providence in the sideboard, and we will talk about that in a second. But Mask Momentum is in there. For the chest, Blood Spatter Vest. This is kind of the most not even controversial, but the most deciding piece of equipment out of everything, because a lot of people are still on Tunic, which is completely fine. I like the ability to have an on-demand Tunic most of the time, especially if you're not worried about Enigma. Your Kodachi's going to hit on the first chain link, and being able to activate this to get, these plays where you can really have some overrate stuff happen is really, really nice, especially when you're not on Tunic. You have something like a blue, Bittering Thorns, and CNC, and you want to get to that third chain link to threaten Mask Momentum. Being able to dagger, add the resource back on, still go back at the 3 resources. You be able to then Bittering Thorns into CNC. Potentially that's a 3-card 12, 3-card 13 if they let Bittering Thorns hit with an on hit, with 2 on hits, really. So you can have these fun overrated stuff, and you can still do that with Tunic, but it has to line up. And I just like the ability to be able to have that on demand, so to speak. And it blocks 1, which can be useful. Tunic does too, but it's still, you don't lose that. And then you also have these weird, crazy plays. I'm not going to try to think of one off the top of my head at 12 a.m., but there are some interesting ones where you can basically activate it twice to get like really overrated stuff. This normally comes in like dual threat turns. You'll have like a dual threat in Arsenal with a blue, and then your last 3 cards will all be like 1 costs, and 2 of them are go-agains, and you're able to still dagger, and then pouncing paws. You gain the resource off dagger, so you still have 3 resources. Play dual threat from Arsenal, and then you're able to play like all 3 of your 1 costs and still threaten mass. So like you can have these crazy weird plays where you can activate it multiple times in a turn. It all depends on how you do it, because when you Kodachi after that dual threat, you'll do it again, so that way you can still pay for all 3 of those 1 costs when your Kodachi comes in for 4. So you can have these weird ones, but regardless, that's kind of what I went with. The core of the deck's pretty simple. None of these are too crazy. Bittering Thorns is Bittering Thorns, really good card. Censor, I love this card more and more. This card rewards you so well for knowing your opponent, understanding what they play on 2-card hands, 3-card hands, 4-card hands. It does a lot for the deck. Cut Through's an obvious winner. Command and Conquer's an obvious winner. Cut Through's a 0 for 5 in your deck 9 times out of 10. If you have multiple of them in a hand, it's still not bad. They let that first dagger hit. You come in with Cut Through for 5, Cut Through for 4. You can do some really dumb stuff. I do have 1 E-Strike in the deck. This, I was coming down to like my last few card choices. E-Strike does help fix all red hands. I don't like having multiples in my hand at one time, obviously, but it is really nice when you draw like E-Strike. You're something crazy like E-Strike, looking for scrap, Torn a Tempo, sound the alarm, right? You're able to, like, if you want to, you can either just block with a card and then E-Strike for 7, Arsenal looking for scrap, or if you really want to push as much damage as possible in that turn cycle because it's late game or something, you can looking for a scrap for 5, go again into E-Strike for 8. And you just did a 4-card 13, which is technically still over 8, which is hilarious. And do some interesting stuff hand fixing wise. So that's why I have 1 of. Looking for Scrap is just such a good card. I've thought about going down to 2 of this card because it is really annoying to see this card early in the game if you haven't gotten rid of a 1 power yet, but it's too good to not have a 3 of, so that's why it's there. Mauling Key, again, this is kind of a stylistic choice for me. I want to have as much synergy with Flick Flag as I can into some of these more go wide decks like Aurora, even Vincent. KO. We do have an Urga KO player. That's another deck that's going to be there. So Mauling Key, it's a 1 for 5. So with the blue, I can have a 2-card 8. It blocks 3 and it has synergy with Flick Flag. It kind of hits all the boxes, right? It's not sexy. It's not like a crazy high ceiling card, but it is a meat and potatoes card that I enjoy having in the deck. Sound the Alarm. I'm telling you right now, most decks are on it now. If you're playing Ira and you're non-Sound the Alarm, I don't know what you're doing. It doesn't make any sense. This is an auto slam 3 of. It's arguably my favorite card in the main board. And to Assassin, this card is very good. When this attacks a hero, they reveal their hand. If attack reaction card is revealed this way, you may search your deck for a defense reaction, reveal it, and then shuffle, put it to the top. So it has obvious implication into like Assassin and even Syndra. And in decks where he has no application, at least on reveal, you still get to see their whole hand. And in a deck that is all about extrapolating as much value as possible, being able to map your blocks out because you know their entire hand is just unreal. So if you're playing Ira, I don't care what version you're on, this should be an auto slam 3 of. Spinning Wheel Kick is very, very good. It's a 1 for 4. It's a 1 for 5 in Ira with her ability. Having plays where you have a 3-card play with 2 Spinning Wheel Kicks is just so much value because you Kodachi for 1, Spinning Wheel Kick for 5, Spinning Wheel Kick for 5, on hit, pull a Spinning Wheel Kick back to the bottom of your deck. So you just did a 3-card 11, threatening Mask if you're running momentum in that matchup, and you're threatening cycling a go again extender to your deck, which is very good for you. So, and it has synergy with Flick Flack in a pinch, which is really useful. Torn a Tempo, I've been switching between this card and Take the Tempo. Now that I went into a more defensive postured list with Shelter, Sink, and Flick Flack, Take the Tempo kind of fell out of favor a little bit, but Torrents is good. Does everything you want to do. 1 for 5, blocks 3, threatens Mask. Not much you can say about it. And then Dual Threat. And then finally, we're on 23 blues. I am on a bunch of the General 1 powers, as you can see, because I am on Looking for a Scrap. That's just the game plan I'm on. I do like having 2 of Rowdy Locals in the list. It's very good late game blue to have. Even sometimes I'll even sacrifice some value to play this on Chainlink 2 because it's a 0 for 3. That if it's defended by action cards, a 0 for 5, which is really nice. It's really good also on dual threat turns. If you still want to push a little bit of damage, but maybe you don't, you have something like this dual threat, another blue, and even another blue, and you can't afford to give up tempo. Being able to play like, Kadachi for 1, Pouncing Paws, Crouching Tiger for 1, dual threat, Kadachi for 4, Rowdy Locals for 5. On block, it goes to 7. Like, yes, you don't get the discard, but you do at least get like a significant on block like trigger that can kind of put your opponent in a weird spot, low life total. So it has some application. I'm also running 1 Cheeky Burdens of the Past. This card is very funny. I've thought about going to 2 of into Florian specifically, or Earth specifically. They run like freaking 6 to 9 rootbound carapaces, so if you see this super late game, it's auto draw, counting all their other D-Reacts. If you see it early game, I will still play it. If they have played a rootbound carapace in their grave at any point, and they haven't decomposed it yet, if they haven't decomposed it yet, then this just says they don't get to play another one, which is really good because if they use 1 rootbound carapace, and they're trying to use a second one to decompose it and really turn on things like this can tell. Like I had this happen last week against the Florian player where I played this card and they had 2 rootbounds in their hand and there was nothing they could do about it. So it's not like a crazy, super spicy card, but I do like having a 1 of. I feel like it's really useful late game depending on what people are trying to do. Or in the mid game, it's actually not too bad. So that's where I'm at. 51 card core. Sideboard's pretty simple. This 1 double strike, I'm going to be really, really real with you. I was at 79 cards, and I had 0 effing clue what to put in the deck. We put in a double strike. This might not even ever come in. Like, legit. It's hilarious. So you can ignore this card. If you want to put something different, put something different. So I have 9 defense reactions, and I put ones in based off, what's applicable. If we have a really high go again deck, I'll put in Flick Flack, really good against Prism, really good against KO, really good against Aurora, really good against Syndra. Shelter from the Storm, this would normally be Fate Foreseen. I pulled one yesterday. I told you I'm not paying $100 for this card. But I pulled one yesterday. I got lucky in a box, and then my buddy Conrad's going to let me borrow 2 for the ProQuest. So I will be running 3 shelters. If for some reason Conrad forgets, which would be completely fine because I've forgotten things too, this will just be 3 Fate Foreseens. I'll just change the list before I submit it. But that's and I'll just pack them in my deck box. But it's 3 shelters. It's just too good of a card if you can't use it in some way, shape, or form. And 3 Sink Belows. Those are in more defensive matchups. Decks where it's like, Aurora. It's stuff where you want to be able to block those 0 for 4s. We have a Race Face. It's good into anything that has the word Earth or Lightning in it. Very, very nice. It's also really good into Draconic, obviously. So it has a lot of application to Florian, Verdance, Syndra, all of those types of things. It's also actually pretty good into Vincent, being able to turn off Shadow and Runeblade and stuff like that. So I do run it in that matchup as well. And then we have Pain in the Backside. If I just want to force the issue a little bit more on hits, I'll usually run this actually into aggro matchups just to have a little bit more gas. Like into Aurora, I'll run like Shelter from the Storm, Pain in the Backside, and Flick Flack. And then I sideboard out usually I'll sideboard out like the 2 Mauling Keys and the E-Strike for like a Race Face. Or like the 2 Mauling Keys and like 1 Torn to Tempo for a Race Face. It all depends. I don't have like a strict matchup by matchup guide. It's really what I think the deck runs. That All You Got's very good in the Syndra. Very good into Aurora. So I have that in there. So yeah, this sideboard's pretty fluid. It really depends on how you feel like you want to approach the matchup, because like some people into Aurora want to have 9D reacts and try to out mid-range them. Other people like me into Aurora, I'll run Pain in the Backside, Erase Face, and Shelters, or Flick Flags, depending on, you know, just what I'm feeling in the moment, and try to have more of a disruptive game plan. So it all depends on how you want to do it. I am running AB3. I'm not losing to the stupid freaking... This is going to sound so funny. Again, this is late Sammy talking. I'm not losing to the stupid Broccoli Tree in Florian. If I'm going to lose to Florian, I'm going to lose from damage and mid-ranging. I'm not going to lose because they kept Tree out for 6 to 8 turns total in the game over a course of multiple trees, and they kept dealing, you know, 4 arcane per ping, and I only can block 1 of it because I brought in AB1, and so they just got, 3 times 6, 18 value. I'm not doing that. Nope, not again. So I run through AB3. AB3 comes into, I honestly, I will either run AB2 or AB3. It's kind of like weird. So into Florian specifically, I've been trying 2 different ways. I've been running the full AB3 and just saying you're not going to kill me with Broccoli. Broccoli, by the way, is Channel Tree. I've also been running AB2, which is just Robe and Gloves, and trying to keep Pouncing Paws for a good dual threat turn, which I feel like is really useful into them. So it might end up being AB2. Any matchup that you want to run AB1, I would run Null Rune Gloves over Tide Flippers. I think having Pouncing Paws is too important in a lot of those matchups. Into Earth, into Aurora specifically, I definitely would take out Shuko, and I would run Pouncing Paws. You want to be able to pop off with that dual threat when you need to. So that's where I'm at with that. And then the spiciness of this, I guess, the most spicy part of the list is this Crown of Providence. There is certain matchups where this card means absolutely nothing in Masculine Momentum, right? There just is. Like into Florian doesn't mean crap. Verdance, it could, but most likely doesn't mean anything. Into Victor, it's not going to mean anything. And they don't care. Some of those decks don't even care if you get that extra draw. They can still outvalue you and mid-range with you. So I'd rather have a Crown of Providence to be able to block when I need to, block a key CNC, block a key attack, and be able to filter. So because of that, I am running Crown of Providence. This also technically will come into Enigma, because being able to, you know, block a CNC or even help block a little bit more on a Phantasmaclasm or something like that is very, very useful. So that's where I run. Into Prism, I'll still run Masculine Momentum because you can still get it. But I have found that this actually has done very well for me, and it does throw your opponents off. Like going into a Florian and you reveal this, they're like, how you reveal that and like AB3, and they're like, okay. So they have to like rethink how they approach the matchup, so to speak, turn to turn. So that's where I'm at so far. I don't care to show this. It's fine. I played with the deck 87 times, 71% win percentage. Take that how you will. This is a mix of testing games with friends, some casual Talishar, as well as every time I took this to an armory, I put in my armory results. And I took it to like 5 armories in a row. I literally was 14-1 over 5 armories with this deck. My one loss coming... What was my one loss to? I forgot what my one loss was at this point. But yeah. So it's been doing pretty well for me. It's had a lot of different iterations. We'll see how it does tomorrow. Just going to, you know, it's a fun deck that I enjoy playing, that I know how to play very well, and I feel really confident. But who knows? Might O2 scrub out. If I do, I do. You know what I mean? You'll be the first to know. But definitely give the deck a look if you like it. Please let me know if you have any things that you like that's not in the deck. Also let me know. I'd love to get y'all's input. It should be a fun one. Also, sorry for the lack of videos. I just haven't had any that I've really felt the need to make. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I really, most of the time, don't care to make like meta videos or like recap videos anymore. I did do one for the Pro Tour. I didn't do the like end of Pro Tour one. It's just I'm not on fire to make it, and that's kind of been the talk of the town the last few weeks. So I've been enjoying it. I've been going to like 2 or 3 armories a week, which has been awesome because now we have 3 stores within like a 30-minute drive that all have an armory. So being able to do that has been really, really nice. But yeah, Let me know what you think of the list. I would appreciate any feedback or any comments at all. If you like this type of content, you can leave a like or subscribe or comment or dislike. That's fine too. But there is a creator worksheet down below in the Google Sheet, and go check out some other creators. Like their stuff. We have spoiler season coming up. I'm almost positive I'm not getting a spoiler for this set, which is completely fine. There's going to be other creators down that worksheet that will get a spoiler. I know as Go Again Gaming has got one from what I hear, and a couple others. So definitely go check out their content, give them a like, support them so we can. I will be doing spoiler recap stuff, which is going to be fun. So definitely give that a look. But yeah, thank y'all so much. Hopefully you'll have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk.